Hi there, it's Olga and it's the day 15 of my 25 Days of Christmas tutorial series. Today we're going to create some quick and easy holiday table decor out of paper. I'll be using the products from Paper Discovery magazine kit. That kit includes dies, stamps, papers and embossing folder, as well as the magazine full of inspiration. There's also going to be a couple of bonus projects, so let's get started. To make place cards, I'll be using this paper from the kit. It has a bunch of landscapes, and I have also chosen a couple more papers that match in color. I'm also going to need a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 side folding card base made out of white cardstock. Now I'm going to use my paper trimmer and trim this card base in half, and that is going to make 2 card bases for the place cards. This sheet of paper is meant to cover up 4 card fronts, but again I'm going to trim one landscape background in half, and that is going to make 2 place cards. I'm going to trim down this piece even more to match the size of my card front. And I'm also going to leave a thin border all around the card. So now I'm using the double-sided tape to attach this background onto the card front. This way you can create 8 cards out of one sheet of paper. This background is kind of empty, it just has the ground and the sky, and you can fill it in with your own elements to create different landscapes. So I have chosen a couple of dies from the set. They are a house and a tree, and they are die cut out of plain white cardstock. I'm also going to add a tiny little bird to that landscape. You can add more trees if you want to, it's all up to you. Now I'm just going to stick down all the elements onto the card front using some liquid adhesive. I'm using Ranger Multimedia Matte here. Since I trimmed the card front in half, one card is going to have that full moon and one is going to be empty, but you can add it back, just punch out the circle out of white paper. Once I have all the elements attached, I'm writing down the name of the recipient and I'm using the fine tip of a distress marker. Of course, if you have small alphabet stamp set or die set, you can totally use it as well. There's also a small trick that I like to do to all the place cards. I'm going to trim down the strip of paper about 1 inch wide from the back of the card. This way the card will be leaned backwards when it's standing on the table, and it's easy to view from above, as you can see, and you don't have to lean down to see the name of the guest. The next piece I'm going to make is a cutlery holder, and I'm going to use a popular origami pattern for it. I just have to trim down the piece of paper to the square. This is a very simple design and it's also very forgiving. So first thing you have to do is you have to fold your piece of paper in 4. These papers are a bit thinner than the regular patterned paper, so they are suitable for origami. Now we have to find that one corner of the square where all 4 layers of paper are not connected. Now I'm simply bending the corner out and then I'm pressing down the fold. I'm going to do that to 3 layers and I'm going to leave the last one sticking out. You can make those strips wider or narrower. This project does allow you a lot of freedom. Now the last step is flipping over the project to the wrong side, and now I have to bend out the 2 corners from the side towards the middle so that they overlap a little bit. I'm also using the grid mat to help me fold the lines straight. Then I'm going to stick down the two corners together using a glue dot. You can also use the hot glue or a liquid glue. So this is the cutlery pocket ready. You can insert your knives, forks and spoons there. I'm going to finish off this project by adding a simple decoration. So I've die cut a couple of flowers from the set and I'm sticking one of them down onto my origami pocket, and I'm also going to add a small half pearl. The last decoration piece of this set is going to be a favor box, and I'm going to use a very simple and popular milk carton design. I really like making this type of boxes. I'm cutting an A4 piece of paper in half, and that is going to make two boxes, or you can call them bags. I'm folding down a strip of paper at the longer side. That is just to reinforce the top of the bag. Now I have to apply two strips of double-sided tape to create that bag. One is at the short side on the right side of the project, and one is along the bottom side at the wrong side of the project. So this is what it looks like at the moment, and now I'm going to peel off the liner from the short side, and then I'm rolling up that piece of paper into a tube. I'm lining up both ends and then I'm pressing down the adhesive with my fingers. That is what we are going to get. That's a cylindrical shape. Then I'm going to make sure that the seam is in the center, and I'm going to peel off the liner from the bottom side, just like that, and I'm pressing it down. There is the seam in the middle, and I'm not folding it all the way down. I'm just pinching it at the corners. Next, I'm also going to pinch the opposite two corners, but I'm turning the tube at 90 degrees, just like that. And here is my bag finished. I'm going to use a binder clip as a closure. This way you can open and close the box as many times as you want. To decorate the bag, I'm going to use that snowflake label from the set. I'm cutting it out with the scissors and I'm leaving a white border all around the image. As always, you can find the link to the supplies that I'm using down below in the description box, as well as on my blog. I'm sticking down the flower die cut from the set in the center of the snowflake, and then again I'm going to add a small half pearl to make this decoration match with the rest of the project. Then I'm using the glue dot to attach the snowflake to the bag. This bag is the perfect shape to be placed onto the plates. I'll show you exactly how it works. This is going to be my tablecloth. Plain white or undyed natural fabric will do just as fine. So I'm placing my plates on top, and here is the pocket with the cutlery, a place card, and there is the favor box. You can arrange elements in different ways, of course. There are also more ways of creating the favor boxes. One of them is simply using an ordinary glass jar. Jars are recyclable and reusable, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to upgrade an old one. I'm using one of the circle labels from the set to cover up the logo on the lid. I will also be decorating the side of the jar. I've trimmed down one of the papers to create a strip that is about 1 inch wide. Then I'm going to use some stamps from the set to create a decorative strip. I'm going to use a couple of buildings. One of them is the church and the other one is the house, and I'm also going to use the picket fence. I'm I'm going to stamp down all the images with the navy blue ink, alternating them as I go. It's going to be a church, a picket fence, a house, a picket fence again, a church, and so on. The paper already has snowfall pattern on it, so that finishes the winter landscape all by itself. I'm sticking down one end of the paper onto the jar, then wrapping the strip around the jar and sticking down the other end. It was as simple as that. Since the lid has some gold on it, I have also decided to add a gold ribbon. I'm wrapping it around the neck of my jar and tying a bow. You can also add a tag with the recipient's name if you want to. This time I have decided to go without the tag since the name is already written on a place card. So this is what this project looks like when it's finished. You can also use the papers from the set to wrap the small boxes. I did some stamping on the wrapped box, then I added a strip of paper, a label from the set, as well as a couple of die cuts. I finished off this project by adding some sequins that match in color. So that was my tutorial for today. I really hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for visiting, and I hope to see you back really soon for the project number 16. Have a beautiful day.